Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and today we're going to be covering the solo setup video for Hoplomachus Origins. Now in this video, the aim is to get this game to the table as fast as possible. Now this game already has a small footprint, at least in the Origins package, but can be expanded upon greatly in the prior two entries. So there's the Lost Cities and Rise of Rome, which are two large box. Now the reason Hoplomachus Origins caught my attention initially first is because of its specific focus on solo play, and it's quick to the table. So I'm hoping that this video will help you get this thing down on the table and ready to go in a quick amount of time. Now, the first thing I want to mention is Chip Theory Games created this game prior to Too Many Bones. So if you've seen Too Many Bones before, you're going to see a lot of familiar mechanics and things like that. And even just the designing of the chips themselves are going to follow somewhat similar trends to what happened with Too Many Bones, because Too Many Bones was a result of Hoplomachus and essentially an extension of that same mechanic. However, the battle mats are very, very much different, and the AI built into the solo trials here is pretty incredible and very fun. So I think we're going to have a blast playing through them. So let's just get right to it. I'll show you how to set this thing up as quick as we can. The first thing I want to let you guys know is just a little bit about the dice. So this is going to be really fast, but essentially the yellow die is the weakest die with 2 hits on all 6 sides are your odds. 3 to 6 here with the blue, 4 to 6 with the green, and 5 out of 6, your most powerful dice, is black. That's just a reference so you know in terms of what the dice are and what are your best odds, or what are the best odds when rolling across the board. Now, the thing you want to do when you first get this game out of the box, you want to go ahead and sort out your houses by color. This may have already been done for you by Chip Theory Games, but again, put them out on the table so that they're all ready to easily be grabbed. And of course, your champions is kind of sitting down here, all black chips as well. Your health chips you can separate out pretty easily. You've got blues and reds. Some of these other ones over here to the far right I don't need for this particular video, so I've moved them aside, but will likely come into play during another trial in the future. Then the most important things for the solo setup are these 2 reference sheets, one of which says lineup, the other says rules, and we're going to focus on the lineup one first. The lineup is talking about all of the 20 trials that this Hoplomachus Origins game is going to put you through. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to start at trial number 1, you're going to work your way through it, but it's not simply just a matter of beating them and moving on. It's actually a matter of failing. And that's where it actually kind of kicks you a little. So you could go ahead and pass trial 1, move to trial 2, and then fail trial 2 twice. If you fail it once, you're okay. You can do it one more time. After that, you get jumped and pushed back to trial 1. So there is some progression, as well as, you know, take 1 step back, 2 steps forward kind of mentality. So we've got trials 1 through to 20. Your aim is to get to 20. If you get to 20, you are a true champion, because there's some pretty hefty numbers coming out by that point. But we're going to focus on setting this up, so let's talk about trial number 1. The arena right here, if you can notice it, in the circle says Xanadu. It might be really hard to see on camera, but it's very easy for me to see in my hand. So there you go. Xanadu is one of the 3 neoprene mats in the box. It's already here. I'm not going to talk too much about the stone faces until the rules video in the next one. But I will be talking about these blood splatter hexes, because they matter for our drafting and also placement on the mats. So let's jump past the drafting arena rules real quick and jump over to the challengers for this. So Arik Bok is one of them, and Kirakus. So we have this individual as a champion, so we're going to have to put him into play. So we're not going to focus, and I'm not going to talk about anything else in this chip face except for the fact he's got 5 health, because that's fairly easy to see. I will be talking about more about what you're seeing here on the chip in the rules overview, but right now we'll just put 5 blue chips underneath this individual and get him on the mat. So we've got 5. I'm using blue. I could have used red, but I'm choosing I'd like to use red. So we're going to put the enemies with blue. Now, in terms of which of these 4 spots we're supposed to deploy this individual to, you then quickly reference your solo rules, and you'll see board controlled setup and deployment order. So in the middle there, you've got the Xanadu map, and there's a 1 there right up to the right of the statue in the upper area. So that's the first spot for the first individual coming out to sit at. So This individual will be deployed here in this location. The second challenger is Karakus, and she is in from Xanadu. She comes from the House of Xanadu, and she looks like this. It's actually extremely nice artwork on this particular chip, and there's 2 hearts underneath of it as well, so we'll put 2 chips. She's not as strong health-wise, but has some pretty incredible abilities. So that's pretty awesome, and we'll talk about those more. So again, you reference your sheet, take a quick look. It says 2 for Xanadu is kind of on the south side of that statue, so it's going to put her about here. So now they're split up like so. And again, if we had a third and a fourth, the third would go here and the fourth would go here, but we don't. But in future trials, you know, things will get a little bit more crazy, I'm sure. So now at this point, really, once you've set that up, you've done everything you need in terms of setting up the challengers. Now we can start talking about drafting. So what you can also do is quickly reference the one sheet at the back of the rule book, which talks about solo trials. And of course, it's going to give you a run through of what I just explained about the 20 different challenges you have to go through, how you progress through them. We already talked about that. Then we're going to talk about the drafting rules for solo play, because that's what's important. And they are drafting 6 units or tactics to be used against your challenger. Refer to your trial card to see how that rule can be altered for your first trial, and that's really important. And then you can keep your progress to yourself, essentially. Now, in terms of drafting, just so you guys are aware, further back in the rule book, there is a spot right here that says, note, we recommend a starting lineup that consists of 4 to 6 gladiators, 1 to 2 special gladiators, and 1 to 2 tactics. Now, in terms of special gladiators, it says that each team may only deploy 1 special gladiator, which has a star icon for each challenge. So I can only go ahead and get 1 of those special ones out, but we can have a combination of up to 6 as long as we stay within that restriction or those rules. So we're gonna go ahead now and do our drafting, which I'm really excited about. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about what we can't do when we're drafting, and that is by looking at the drafting and arena rules. You'll notice that there's these rules that seem to change every single time you do a trial. Well, the first one says you cannot draft Xanadu units and tactics, is what it's trying to say. So this particular house cannot be used in any of my drafting. I have to remove it from the draft pool. Now, typically, you would have all of these chips face up, spilled out all over the place, but I've already gone ahead of this video and picked the ones I want to use, just save you guys the time of having to watch me shuffle through things. So we'll go ahead and I'll just bring them out and we'll quickly put them aside. So from Atlantis, we're going to be using Retainer. It will be one of the ones I've chosen as a gladiator. Has a really cool ability and really strong health. Not so much on the movement, but again, we'll talk more about the stats that are sitting there later. From Atlantis, I think that's it, so we'll move that house away. Now again, this is where it gets interesting because I could have used any of these chips, but I chose, there's Tactic here, there's other gladiators, I chose this one, and you can take any number from any number of houses as long as I'm not using Xanadu. So it's very cool because you can really chain together some really unique strategy when you go to face these trials off, which is really, really fun. So here's the next one. I'm going to be from Pompeii. I'm going to be taking the Centurion. Now this Centurion is really, really powerful. You can see he's got the star, which means he's a special gladiator. I can only have one of those in my 6 drafted gladiators and tactics. So he's going to take the top spot essentially. And so now at this point, I've got 2 gladiators and one of them is special. From this same actually from Pompeii, that's it. That's it from that particular house. We'll put that house aside. We'll move to El Dorado. El Dorado, I've taken a tactic card or chip. This one's called Adrenaline. It says I can increase a friendly unit's move range by 1. Pretty cool. So it's going to allow me to take a slower unit and get them moving a little quicker. I think that'll come in real handy. And then also another one from El Dorado, I took the tactic Propel. So this unit gains Propel, which is basically a way, without explaining it too much, to allow me to throw a unit that's adjacent to me in order to get them further ahead. So again, it's generating that movement, generating that teamwork together. So those are 2 tactics, 2 gladiators, 1 special gladiator so far. All right, so that house is now done, at least. And again, remember, you can come through here and pick anyone you want, as long, you know, that's the very interesting strategic side of this game, but I've already gone ahead and chosen what I've chosen. So the last 2 are going to come from Rome, so we're going to go ahead and flip those over. This guy's name I'm not going to bother trying to pronounce because I'll probably butcher it, but someone can try to pronounce it in the comments below. So this individual is going to come in. I think his abilities are going to be cool. He's also fairly quick, and I think he's going to be useful. So we're going to have him come in as a gladiator. So now we have 3 gladiators, 2 tactics, 1 special gladiator. And then lastly, I just realized I cannot have that individual in. So you can notice there's a star. So that's 2 specials. So I've broken a rule already. So quickly here, I will take this individual who's a regular gladiator that does not have the special star in order to correct that mistake before I make it. Now we'll take this house and throw it aside. So essentially what happens now is you've drafted. So I've now drafted my pool, but my pool stays off the mat because the way the game works essentially, and I'll talk about this more in specifics in the rules overview, is during my turn, you basically go through a 3-step process of deploying and moving and attacking. And it kind of happens over and over and over again, along with the AI that's built in to control the challengers. And of course, there's a whole mechanic about how we're supposed to actually go about winning this particular trial and also winning within this particular environment. So every different neoprene mat that's for a different arena has different stuff to deal with. But that's essentially it. As of right now, we're done. That's the setup. We are at 10 minutes, maybe 11 minutes in. If you chop out 2 minutes for extras that I added in there, very quick to get to the table. And if you were doing this on your own, you'd probably be chopping that down to like 5 minutes max. It's very, very fast that way. So I really like it for that. So at this point, we're ready to go for our first trial. So we're already that far ahead. So what I'm going to do though in the next video is we're going to take a pause. We're going to talk about the rules overview. And what that's going to cover essentially is we're going to cover things like special characteristics of the map, talking about situational, different situations about these particular stones that are sitting in the middle of Xanadu and what they mean. We're going to figure out what the actual win conditions are for this particular arena, because it's not just about killing off particular challengers. It's actually, there's a mechanic in scoring as well that happens here, so we'll be talking about that. I'll also go through each and every one of my units that I drafted, and we're going to talk about their abilities so that we're familiar with them up front, so that as the gameplay goes forward, nobody's getting lost in the shuffle. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the setup video. Hopefully this was clear enough to understand at least the setup and to get an idea of what is about to happen. I'm extremely excited for this one. This is like, I'm already losing my mind because it's just like, it just brings me back to Too Many Bones. I've always loved this neoprene mat chip thing. It's like I have an addiction now or something. So anyway, but besides that, I really hope you guys will join me on this journey as we travel through Hoplomachus. We go through all of these trials. I don't know how far we'll play through, but to be totally honest, with the fact that we're only doing, what I would likely do is I'll likely end up doing them all, but I'll likely do a large majority of them and consider the showcase done. And then at a certain point, I will keep throwing one in every so often, guys, so that you're always able to see one continually happen. And we'll work our way to 20. My goal will be that in the end, we'll actually play all of them and get all of them done. But at least for the showcase, we'll go to a certain point, call her quits, and then from then on, I'll kind of surprise you guys every once in a while with an episode of us pushing forward with some trials to see how close, because if we could get down to trial number 20, that'd be incredible. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So we'll do our best. We'll see where we go, and hopefully luck's on our side. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed. If you do, share it with your friends. Let them know that this is happening. Give me a like if you enjoy what you've seen and you want to see more. And again, make sure to join up on the guild so that you can kind of stay in the loop on things with the channel. And again, there's other stuff coming down the pipes. I will actually likely be doing another game at the same time as this one, but I'm not going to mention what that game is just yet, so I'll keep that a surprise for now. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate the support. You guys are amazing, and again, thank you so much. Keep on rolling solo.